Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'd like to do a video on what I would change about Wings of Fire. I actually got this idea by searching through some old video files I have left over when I used to do Animal Jam content, and I saw one about things I would add/delete in Animal Jam. Then I thought about how perfect it would be with Wings of Fire. This video contains some major spoilers for almost every Wings of Fire book, so please keep that in mind. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. The first thing I would change about Wings of Fire is that I would do Chameleon redemption arc. I absolutely love his character, and he's genuinely one of my favorite Wings of Fire villains, even though he doesn't appear too often in the series. I really think that there should have been a scene of him apologizing to Peril, or just genuinely regretting what he had done while working for Scarlet. I was disappointed to find out in Darkness of Dragons that he just kept working for treasure. That's it. They took away what could have been a very insecure and powerful character and just turned him into someone who would work for anyone as long as he got paid enough. A redemption arc or even more of a villainous storyline for him would have been great, and definitely something I'm considering writing about myself. Secondly, I think the reveal of the prophecy being fake should have been more dramatic and more of the Dragonette should have cared about it. The only one who really cared was Sunny, and that's because it led to the start of her book. I really think that even characters like Tsunami would have been stung by it and felt like they had no purpose. It could have been a much more dramatic reveal with bigger results, yet it got kind of played off. I just wish they actually had more dragons care about the prophecy being fake besides Sunny and feeling that sense of uselessness afterwards, even if it was just small. Obviously their guardians, except Webs, had no way of finding out that the prophecy was fake, but it would have been cool for a scene like that where they did realize their efforts were for nothing. Next up would be that Ivy, Leaf, and Wren would have met in a much more dramatic sense. I felt like their meetup was anticlimactic, and I waited the entire book just for them to not really care much when they all met together. What I would have preferred was Ivy and Leaf being saved by Wren with her speaking to a dragon. It would have been a much more earth-shattering event to them if they realized it in a moment of panic that dragons actually were sentient. I really dislike what they did with the group in Dragon Slayer because they genuinely could have been a wonderful group of friends. All I wish is that they would have had a longer and more complex interaction, and them learning about Wren's ability to speak dragon was a bit more of a revelation to the two of them. And finally, Cricket and Blue would have had a more developed love story. I feel like their interactions in the books and more romantic moments just didn't seem to have a lot of chemistry, and I feel the same way about Deathbringer and Glory. Both of these couples needed much more time together to actually develop feelings, and they should have been easier to ship. I just feel like both Cricket times Blue and Deathbringer times Glory felt really rushed and not needed for the story. It's hard for me to ship polar opposites sometimes, and this definitely didn't help. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. What would you guys like to change about Wings of Fire? Let me know down below. If you'd like a part 2, that's definitely something I'd be willing to do. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!